UN. So UN is an intergovernmental organization. The primary purpose is peacemaking. So international cooperation, maintaining peace, law and order among all the countries. This is the primary function of United Nations. So United Nations, there are some objectives mentioned under UN. The first object is to develop friendly relationship among nations. So bringing more coordination and friendship among nations. Then promote respect for human rights and fundamental freedom. Achieve international cooperation in solving economic, social, cultural, humanitarian problems. See, in case of climate change, in terms of biodiversity protection, disaster management, in so many in combating terrorism, in tackling money laundering, so many cases we have international cooperation. All comes under the aegis of United Nations. So they helps in bringing this international cooperation in various fields. It also serves as a center for harmonizing actions for nations. That means if countries want to come together and do something, where will they come? They have to have some base, right? So that base is United Nations. So United Nations is an intergovernmental organization, and this intergovernmental organization stands for international cooperation and world peace. Okay, let's see the evolution of this UN. So in 1920, the League of Nations was founded. League of Nations was uh, the first one that came into existence for the international cooperation. League of Nations came as a result of Paris Peace Conference. So Paris Peace Conference was how we concluded World War One. After World War One, we had Paris Peace Conference. Out of Paris Peace Conference only, we got League of Nations. Afterwards, the Second World War came. In 1941, the Second World War also was actively there, and 26 countries signed an Atlantic Charter. Okay, 26 countries, they signed an Atlantic Charter for the establishment of a post-war organization. Understand this? Post-war organization. Why they want a post-war organization? In order to push for international cooperation, and they don't want any future wars. So in order to stop the future wars, they need a international cooperation. So, okay, likewise, they wanted an organization. And in 1945, for that purpose only, United Nations was formed. So they signed a UN Charter, 51 countries, and the United Nations was formed. And this United Nations is located in the headquarters is in New York City. And this officially came into existence in October by the ratification of the founding members. And in 1946, the first meeting was held in London. Okay, that is how United Nations was shaped. Then later on, so in 1920, there was League of Nations. 1945, due to UN Charter, we formed United Nations. It came into existence in 1946. In 1947, UN established International Court of Justice. International Court of Justice. This International Court of Justice is the principal judicial organ of UN. That means it is a court. It is a judiciary of UN. So it is in 1947, and in 1948, what you have? In 1948, very important, they adopted Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So 46, UN came into existence. 47, International Court of Justice. 48, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Organizational structure of UN. UN have a General Assembly, UNGA, General Assembly. Then you have a Security Council. Then you have ICJ. ICJ, we already discussed ICJ in the year 1947, that we already discussed. Then we have a Secretariat. Then we have ECOSOC. ECOSOC means Economic and Social Council. I'll write it here. ECOSOC. Economic and Social Council. Then you have Trusteeship Council. These are the principal organs of United Nations. You have General Assembly, you have Security Council, then there is Court of Justice, Secretariat, then ECOSOC and Trusteeship Council. And the General Secretary or Secretary General of United Nations is the Chief Administrative Officer of United Nations and Head of United Nations Secretariat. Okay, and here the Secretary General, he is appointed by the General Assembly. This General Assembly means, UNGA means, it contains all the members of UN. UNSC means it is the 5 permanent members plus it is 10 temporary members. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. So the UNGA will be having all the members of UN. UNSC will be having 5 permanent members and 10 temporary members. Altogether, UNSC consists of 15 members. And in this permanent members, they will never change and they have this veto power. And 10 temporary members changes in a constant interval of time. Then, who all are the members of United Nations? All the undisputed independent states. Okay, all the undisputed independent states are the members of UN. Vatican City is not. South Sudan was the recent join. So now there are 193 UN members and there are 2 observer states. 2 observer states. One is Holy See. Holy See is Vatican City. Then there is Palestine. These 2 are the non-member observer states. Then Cook Island and NEU are a free association which is with New Zealand. They are also full members of several UN specified agency. Okay. So they are like Cook Island and NEU. They are not a separate country, but they are like associated with New Zealand, but they are associating with so many UN agencies. So, and they can make their own treaty. Okay. I'll give you a sample question. See this question. With reference to UNGA, consider the following. UNGA can grant observer status to non-member states. Yes, right. We have seen non-member states, Holy See and Palestine. Then, the intergovernmental organization can seek observer status in the UNGA. That is also true. Intergovernmental organization can be observer in UNGA. Permanent observers in General Assembly can that statement. Permanent members in the General Assembly can maintain missions at UN headquarters. Give me 1 second. Okay, coming back. The third statement, permanent observers in General Assembly can maintain missions at UN headquarters is a statement. So that is also true. Permanent observers, they can actually maintain missions. Permanent observers can give this missions at UN headquarters. So, that is also correct. The statement, all the 3 statements are clear here or correct here. Okay, this is a 2022 question. We'll see more. We'll see some of the specialized agencies of UN. Okay.